Let's see. I want to make sure I'm streaming. I am streaming live. Tremendous. Love it. What is going on, fine folks, as you jump on? Hello there, hello there, hello there. How are we? Let's see who's on first. Let's see who jumps on first. There we go. Michelle, welcome. Sue from Connecticut. Rhonda, Kentucky. Brooke in Texas. Martha in Oklahoma, welcome. Lisa in Kansas City, hello there. What's going on? Chris in Illinois. Misty T. Jones, what's going on? Jade, welcome. Good evening. Good evening. Hello there. Kristen, welcome. Any newbies? Any first timers? Heather, Kansas, welcome. Barry, hello. What's going on, Bob? Fireworks is correct. Lots of fireworks, actually. What's going on? Summer, I saw Queensland. Yes, in Perth, Western Australia. Joe, welcome. They go so fast now. I got to catch them real quick. Hello, Georgia. Donna, hello in Charleston, Illinois. Michelle in England. Welcome from England. Love it. I'd love to go to England someday. So, hello, Presto. Hello. What's going on, Carol? What's going on, Francis? Belinda from West Virginia. Hello there. Minnesota, Christy. Jamie in Michigan. Michigan. Whitmer got knocked down. I don't know where it is now, but that's what I saw. Fancy from Tucson, Arizona. Sorry, I almost said Tuscaloosa. Going on, Mary. Hello. Hello, Sue from Mount Rushmore. Really? You're in Mount Rushmore right now? Do you live there, or are you just like checking it out? Hello, Charmin. Hello there. Melissa from Maine. Debbie from New York. Springfield, Missouri. Ben, welcome to the show. Amber in Minnesota. Woodstock, New York. Dale. I love the smell of red pills in the evening. Barry, that's fantastic. Lisa Olcheski, Dr. Olcheski, how are you? I miss you. Give me a message sometime and we'll catch up. I think you messaged me, and my messages are so out of control at this point. I'm working on it. What's going on? Florida. Walter, welcome, Florida. Corey and her hubby in Illinois, welcome. Massachusetts. I have my new hat. Yeah, from this weekend. Excellent. I'm going to really attempt to be efficient tonight because I got home very late, like 1:30 in the morning, very late, and then got up reasonably early. So I'm going to try to shut it down tonight and get some sleep. All right, Toledo, Ohio, Jennifer. What's going on? Molly in Virginia. All right. All right, let's see. Okay. I have a disclaimer right off the start, okay? And yes, I'll tell you a little bit about what I talked about this weekend. Maybe I'll do that at the end of the show, because I have stuff to get to. But a little disclaimer. This show is not for everybody, all right? Why do I say that? Because guess what? Sometimes we throw in a little entertainment. We throw in healthcare. We throw in politics. We throw in crazy outside this planet galactic information. And guess what? Some of you won't agree with it. Some of you won't believe it. I'm willing to bet there's even some things that I'll bring up on the show in the near future that you won't agree with, and that's okay. Welcome to America. Welcome to the land of the free, where you can have whatever opinion and viewpoint you want. And guess what? I won't hate you. You won't hate me. I was driving down the road tonight, and about 2 blocks from my house, there is a person who my daughter, my wife, and I ride on a bike past this person's house like at least once a week. And they had Love America sign in their yard. And then they also had a Biden-Harris sign in their yard. You know what I thought? Someday, because I've ridden by that house and I've waved to the people there. They're waved and they smiled back. The next time that I go by their house and they're outside, I am going to stop and I'm going to say, you know what? One of those signs we can totally agree on. And you know what? Even though you're a Biden supporter and I'm a Trump supporter, I still love you anyway. And we can both agree that love in America is what we're both after. And I can do that with a smile, knowing they're ideologically completely different than I am, because that's America. Welcome to different opinions, different viewpoints. And if you can't handle that, as I have said, then guess what? It's my show. So I don't need the messages. I don't need the reason I bring this up is not because I care personally, but I watch a lot of stuff. I see a lot of things out there, even though I'm pushing out a lot of content. It is okay if you don't agree with somebody. It is perfectly fine. But guess what? This is my world to show you what I understand and help as many people wake up as humanly possible in this world. Because guess what? You've been lied to your entire adult in adolescent life, toddler life, whatever you want to call it. So many people are like, well, that doesn't make sense to me. I can't see that happen. Perfectly fine. Don't go down that rabbit hole. But if you don't see that this is not a battle for America, folks. This is not about America. We just happen to be the last freest country on the planet, and we're not technically free because the freaking bankers and the elite stole everything. But we still have a few pieces of paper in Washington, D.C. that still hold us freer than everybody else. This is not about the American election. This is about a planetary situation. You've been lied to. You know, you think this, a lot of people think that this is just about an American election. Yet, you can turn on your television and you can go to the History Channel. And they had this channel called the show called Ancient Aliens. Right? Show about ancient aliens. Now, I'm sure, obviously, not everyone in the world is watching the show. Obviously, they have a small population of people. I didn't watch it necessarily because it was just a little over dramatic for me. I'd rather just read about it and get the facts. But we think that this is just about the little old thing in America, and we got to recover America, and then we'll stop the lockdowns everywhere else. No. There's freaking pyramids in Giza for a reason. There's pyramids at the bottom of the ocean for a reason. There's pyramids in Antarctica for a reason. There's pyramids around the world for a reason. There are spacecrafts engraved on cave walls in the Middle East and all over the world for a reason. You've been lied to. We've all been lied to. Now, is this all going to come out in the next year? I don't know. But it's going to come out. The largest church on the face of the planet, the Vatican, has brutally lied to you your entire life about the existence of what they have underneath. The Queen of England has lied to you about what is in that facility your entire life. The Pentagon, the White House, the Capitol, they've lied to you from the very beginning. So, if you can't see something, perfectly fine, then don't look at it. But guess what? There's far more out there than you can possibly imagine going on at all times. We think because the president comes out and talks for an hour every day or every other day, that that's all that's happening. Yet you don't know what's going on behind the scenes all the time in dark rooms behind the curtain. There's a lot of stuff going on, okay? So I just want to let you know that. It's okay. We can have different opinions. The sole goal is, I was in Fort Pierce, Florida yesterday for this event. And there were so many people that came up to me who were just super nice. People who were not awake just a few months ago stumbled upon the show, and they just literally had all the veils taken from their eyes. They looked happier. They're smiling because they're awake. Now, they may not be awake to everything. We all might be awake to different levels of stuff. There's levels of awakeness. We're all at a different place, and you're all going to get to a different place in your lifetime. But just knowing that you've been lied to, and which allows you to then do your research, opens up the whole can of worms. And it allows you to finally do what you were intended to do, which was gain knowledge while you were here and understand the best you could about what your world was about and who you are, and to make you and your family better as you go forward. So if you're not at a certain level, that's fine, right? But please do not go out there and attack people for their viewpoint. And especially, I'm telling you right now, I spoke from a stage yesterday and said, do me a favor. I hope after this election is over, the red and blue labels of politics is stripped away forever. I hope the Republican Democrat labels are forever gone after this election. And not only do I want you to serve and help somebody, as I say every night, what I really want you to do after this election is over, you know what I want you to do? This is the hardest thing you're going to have to do, but it's required. I want you to go to the nearest liberal, the nearest Democrat, the nearest Biden-Harris supporter, the nearest Obama supporter, the nearest Hillary Clinton supporter. You know what I want you to do? I want you to go up to them and say, you know what? We battled. We probably said some things we maybe not and shouldn't have said. But you know what? You're a human being. And I appreciate you. I love you as a human being. We may not agree on certain things. But guess what? Let's turn the page. Let's create a better world now. And let's be on the same team going forward, knowing full well we may not agree on everything. But we can go forward as Americans dedicated to making a better world. I will do that myself. We will go to our counterparts and say, let's really make this place the best place we can be on everything that we can agree with. That's what we do. That will make a better world. Truly a better world. So, that's what I want to do. All right. Now, let's dive into some craziness. How does that sound? Okay. Now, obviously the last couple of days have been a little crazy. And I'm going to tell you what I think is happening versus what I don't think is happening. Okay. And I will tell you what I think about the ship, what ship he is on. Okay. But let me first show you this, because if you haven't seen it, this is what was occurring tonight, okay? Or I should say today. POTUS made a little break for it. so POTUS is totally trolling the Democrats tonight. Sorry, hold on. We'll say sorry after this is over. He is totally trolling the Democrats. Now, I will not go to Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and Hillary Clinton and say, let's do this together. Let me make that clear. I will go to my fellow human beings and I will make up and go forward with them. I'm not going forward with the crazy crew that got us into this whole thing or that kept this thing going on at the end of this thousands of years have been going on. Hillary, Obama, all they can go to Gitmo. I'm not making a better world with them because quite honestly, I believe, some people need to move on and we'll help them move on, okay? But this is kind of how I see what is happening right now or what he is doing to the radical left.
Direct it. You want to throw bricks? Go ahead, throw another one. If you can't do any better than that kid, you're gonna lose. You got any more? Come on, Marv, get up. You don't have any more bricks. He's out of it. What? What?
Sorry, I just think that's hilarious. Oh, goodness. Because this is... Welcome to this stupid game. But let me tell you, let's dive deeper into what has occurred. Now, I talked to Jason on Friday night. Now, Jason said, I think, now, remember, some of the guests I have on, right, they might have very, very different viewpoints as many of you out there, right? So Jason has a viewpoint or an idea where he has read or he's coming to a conclusion through various methods he's using to study that POTUS is maybe not on this planet. And by the way, if you think that's crazy, there's crazier things behind the scenes. When you go watch Above Majestic. I mean, come on. If you haven't seen Above Majestic and you think this stuff is crazy that I've said that maybe he's on a ship off the planet or even Jason said, go watch Above Majestic. There is far more than you can possibly imagine going on behind the scenes of this thing we call planet Earth. All right. Now, I want to show you that. Well, let me show you this first of all. Before I dive into that part, I want to show you how we are as Americans. Now, this was actually, I believe, 2 days ago, because we have been labeled. You do know this, right? Like a couple years ago, we were labeled the deplorables. I think Hillary put that tag on us. The deplorables. You're deplorable, right? Then we were radicals. And then as of the last year, we were white supremacists, which I have no concept of where that possibly comes from. Like they just throw stuff out there and they say it over and over and over again to try to make it stick. All right. Now, this was when POTUS was sent, or as he said, he agreed to go to Walter Reed Memorial, right? To get handled with quote unquote COVID. And by the way, just so we know, before we start this, do I think he has it? No, I don't think he has it. I think this is part of the story. I think this is part of the operations. I think, and we're going to go into this more, right? When he did his little talk, I said to Jason, he did his little talk in front of the fireplace and everything. I think that was a green screen. Whether he was, I don't think he was on the helicopter. What is it? The helicopter is Marine One, I think it's called. I don't think he was on that. I think he was somewhere else. But the night of him being at the hospital, this is what was happening outside. This is how much, you know, the movement is only white supremacists, right? This is what was actually happening outside.
And why are you here tonight?
Well, I saw a few Trump supporters on television last night. Since I live an hour and a half away, I thought it would be important for me to come out here and show my support for the president and to show how much I love him and what he's doing for our country. I know many people tell me I shouldn't support Trump because of the color of my skin, but they never ask me why Trump. He is fighting for America. He is for the American way. I'm for America. I'm for the American way. That is why I am here today.
We are the Patriots. We trust the plan because we have it all, and that fate is in our hands. Had a reason to fool us, but we didn't take the bait. Wanna take us to hell, but we got guns at the gate.
Today, we have seen people of every race, every nationality, every religion, every creed come together and spread a message of unity, of positivity, of hope.
Come and be part of the positive energy, you know, because there's so much negativity in the world right now, and our president needs us, and so we're here. That's why. And it's simple.
Right.
Support President Trump.
Because he's doing a good job. Thank you, Mr. President. Woo!
We grew up in the Philippines. We are Catholic countries, and more or less like Catholic and Christians, and we are really pro-God and pro-life. So that's why we love him. Yeah.
So wait a second. I thought it was a movement of white supremacists and racists and bigots and you name it. Oh, that's right. It's not. So I had a friend who lives in Jersey who actually went to the rally in Philadelphia a couple weeks ago. And he said he took his wife, his daughter. He said it was like a gigantic party. There was so many people there from different backgrounds, nationalities, religions. He said there was actually a ton of Asian people. Like, why? I don't know. I just think it's amazing and beautiful that we have literally all cultures supporting, right? That's what this is about. This is actually bringing America together. And yes, we're gonna have the other side that doesn't agree with it. I think a large majority are being programmed, and then the small majority or the minority are the radical Marxists who promote this whole thing. But I think the majority of liberals are literally just voting the party line right now, or have been brainwashed and programmed by those people they're following. Definitely not Kennedy Democrats, the Pelosi's and Schumers of the world. They're definitely not following real Democrats. They're following radical Marxist liberal Democrats. That's what actually is happening. But we're going to handle this. Now, do I think that President Trump is at Walter Reed? No, I do not. Not at all. And you're like, oh, here's conspiracy guy. Yes, sometimes, guess what? There's conspiracies in the world, right? Not a conspiracy. It's called a trick. They were tricking us for the longest time, and I think we're tricking them back to win the planet back. I don't think he's at Walter Reed. I do think he's on some sort of ship. Now, when I said ship, I did quotations on purpose because I don't know if he's in a spaceship with Palladians or aliens or anything like that, or if he's in a ship on the water or he's in Air Force One. I don't know. I just think he's in a ship. Now, I'm going to show you these posts to show you what's definitely going on. There's a 6-minute video in here I'm going to show you that we're going to go through because I do think it's really important to go over and explain why this theory is going around. Because I will tell you, if you follow the Anons are really smart people. You know, there's this, even within the conservative movement, there's this, you know, banishing as the ugly stepchild the Q people or the Anon people, because there's no way this is actually happening. It's just a new world order. It's a psyop. It's a this, it's a that. You do realize that the majority of Q people are actually former military and veterans who actually know how military operations go on. It's actually not just a bunch of kids sitting in their, you know, basements in their mom's house being keyboard warriors. That's not what that's not what Anons are. The Anons are actually really friggin' smart. And so I told people even this weekend, you don't have to believe, Q is not a cult. There is no leader of Q. Q is a thing or a movement, most likely a military operation, that makes you think for yourself. This crazy thing actually got people to look at the Rockefellers, at the Rothschilds, at the secret space program, at adrenochrome, at human trafficking. Sorry, in my world, it's hard to believe that some crazy off-the-wall cult, dangerous psyop is going to make you look at these things. Because guess what? The majority of the world, the majority of the country is still not in the Q world, right? They're not. And it's so funny because they're like, well, what if it's a psyop? What if this is actually pushing you into a new world order? You do know the Anons actually already know and have planned for that, right? For example, if they go with the whole mass vaccination thing, you do realize that the Anons, even the ones who are pro-vaccine, because there are Anons out there who believe in vaccines. They're not anti-vax people, right? They've even said, if POTUS flips on us, and this was a psyop to destroy us, we're ready to go. Game time. So this is not, and yeah, somebody said something about Dylan. There are misinformation people within the Anon movement. Yes, there are. Welcome to military operations. Welcome to psyops. Positive psyops too. That do this stuff. But I will tell you, I've actually talked to enough veterans in the last 5 months or so of this when COVID happened. I've talked to enough veterans who have said, no, they're fully on board. They understand what this is. They understand what it looks like. They understand what military operations look like. I just talked to some amazing people yesterday. A Navy veteran, actually, I think he said he was active duty, Navy, and his wife. Wonderful people, right? He knows what's going on. They know what's going on. They understand the situation. They understand exactly what it is. This has actually woken up a gigantic amount of people. Now, on to POTUS. Where is POTUS? Well, let's dive into this one. Now, this is just a picture. There's POTUS looking a little pale. If that's actually him, that could be a clone. Who knows? And then there's the POTUS you see in a debate. All right. Now, that's a very interesting one. However, this is the important one that I want everybody to see. This is actually a video. Okay. Where is POTUS?
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Adam A.K. Marf, and this is Marfugal News. So I wanted to go over something real quick that not a lot of people, in fact, I don't see anybody talking about besides Dex and myself. One thing that Dex caught that I don't think a lot of people did is it looks like the president is on a boat. And I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. Even if there was a gimbal at play, the gimbal would be actually trying to accommodate the actual room. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. They're not zooming in. They're not zooming out. I'm going to place some Post-it notes. In fact, special Post-it notes that Rip Curl sent me. And I'm gonna mark the cabinet. I'm going to mark the bottom of this flag. I'm going to mark the eagle. I'm going to mark some other stuff so you guys can see. And this is, again, the official video that he put out just about an hour and a half ago. You'll see exactly what I mean. So first we'll mark this. You don't really see this on if you actually look at it on your phone because it is so subtle. But once you do this, then you start realizing what is up. Let's mark his shoulder here. Mark the eagle. And then mark the other cabinet. All right, now you guys can see. Let's push play here.
What I've seen, whether it's on television or reading about it, I most of all appreciate what's been said by the American people, by almost a bipartisan consensus of American people. It's a beautiful thing to see, and I very much appreciate it, and I won't forget it. Promise you that. I also want to thank the leaders of the world for their...
You can see this one on the left, all of a sudden is going up. The whole place is doing this.
But I had no choice.
Look at that, drastic. Just went up over on the right side. Make sure to take chat off your screen.
Lock yourself in, don't ever leave, don't even go to the Oval Office. Just stay upstairs and enjoy it. Don't see people, don't talk to people, and just be done with it. And I can't do that. I had to be out front.
Look at the gap now.
This is America. This is the United States. This is the greatest country in the world. This is the most powerful country.
The bottom of the flag, it's up at least an inch.
Totally safe.
The wings,
just say, hey,
his shoulder, well.
Whatever happens, happens. I can't do that. We have to confront problems.
The book had a gap of about 2 inches. Now it has none. And it keeps going up and down.
So that's where it is. I'm doing well. I want to thank everybody. Our First Lady is doing very well. Melania asked me to say something as to the respect that she has for our country, the love that she...
Now tell me that this isn't floating somehow. Some would say, oh, maybe it's a gimbal. Maybe the gimbal is you know, because gimbals, of course, have the axis so they always stay still. In fact, they should always stay still. If it was on a flat ground with no movement, there would be zero movement with a gimbal, especially the kinds that they're probably using, right? If it was on a tripod, then it would move all along. Again, I don't know, again, if there was a gimbal, it would try to make up for that. But if it's 10 feet away from the president or 20 feet away, there's no way it could hide the movement of a boat. So that, I'm just saying, that looks like he is on something that is floating, which I don't know. Don't know if Walter Reed floats. Another thing that people have pointed out is that his message is extremely generic. He doesn't mention the specific condolences, which, by the way, condolences, Dex pointed out, was a really weird word to use. How he has to explain why he doesn't sit at the White House, why he felt like he needed to leave, why he felt like, you know, he had to go somewhere. So again, maybe this is some sort of precaution. Don't know. But, you know, why would he be on an aircraft carrier or any kind of boat instead of, you know, where they say it is? And again, he's probably at Walter Reed. Just wanted to point that out. It looks like he is floating. So maybe they've got a dock at Walter Reed and he's out on a houseboat that they've made up look like this. Just saying. Again, you can watch this on...
So I'm going to end it there. You get the point. Now, I was out to dinner last night with the crew of the event. And so right when I sat down to the dinner table, and it was a bunch of people, and it was a really loud restaurant. So I went to my Twitter feed. I saw the video it posted, but I did not really have time to really like check it out. I was listening to it right up to my ear, trying to hear anything, but I was kind of distracted with everything, so it was very hard to kind of take in. And then obviously I saw it today. But the first thing I looked at was I saw this video out there, and I immediately texted my good friend who helps me a lot of the technical stuff, Gil. And I texted him because he actually is in the media production world, and he's not just in the media production world for like recently. Like this is his career. Like he's been doing it a long time. He works with very big company names that if I said those names, they're everyday household names, meaning he doesn't play with the low guys. He plays with the big guys. And I basically said, any technical reason other than being on a moving object that the room would move like that. And he said, nope. I have locked many cameras on tripods, and they do not move like that unless the room does. So that's from someone in the world of media, has been doing it a long time. Now, I also show my wife. My wife is originally from Miami, and so she grew up, her dad had a boat. So she's been on a lot of boats her whole life. She grew up on the water, right? And I looked at it and she said, okay, well, if it was a smaller boat, that's not a boat because it would be bigger movements, because a smaller boat would take on bigger movements. Now, obviously we've never been on an aircraft carrier, but with a boat, there technically would be larger movements. Like it's not even at all. This one was subtle, right? So, she thinks, just like I kind of thought, was like, she gave me that look of like, spacecraft? And I said, you think? And she goes, I wouldn't put it past them to do that. So I am down to either aircraft carrier, possibly, or Air Force One, which I've heard has been flying over Canada and certain other places, and or spacecraft. Now, I had a little kickback on the spacecraft stuff, so let me explain this. You do realize, and you can go watch Laura Eisenhower's stuff, you do realize, as far out as that sounds, Dwight Eisenhower went off the radar, I think it was a week or 10 days, something like that, where he was having a heart issue, and he was meeting with extraterrestrials, forming treaties with extraterrestrials. So, when people are like spacecraft, that makes that, you don't think the President of the United States, the most powerful guy in the world? I mean, think about it. Like, the President of the United States is typically, that's who everyone looks up to on the planet, right? You don't think he wouldn't have access to craft that would be outside of this atmosphere? Why wouldn't he, right? This has been known for a long time that we play with intergalactic things. The Canadian Prime Minister, who his name does not come to me off the top of my head, my buddy Dr. Mike Reed would let me know because he knows it. He testified in front of government commissions saying that there were, and I don't know the number because I didn't plan on saying this, but he was saying there's at least handfuls, if not more, of different species of extraterrestrials that have landed here. They're here. They walk amongst us. They're in government. They're behind the scenes. Okay? This is an older gentleman. It's not Trudeau. It's an older gentleman. It'll come to me at some point. So to think that the president would be on a spacecraft is not that shocking, to be honest with you. It's just that the problem is mainstream knows nothing about it because, again, you've been lied to your whole life. You wouldn't know. Paul Hellyer, thank you. Paul Hellyer. Paul Hellyer. Go look it up on YouTube. Paul Hellyer's out there. He talks about it. If you look at any UFO documentary, there's military on camera saying, yeah, this has been known for a long time. Milton Cooper, Behold the Pale Horse, the book that I've shown you many times over and over again. Bill Cooper from the Navy has documents showing spacecrafts. So it's not that crazy to think the president might be on a craft, all right? And by the way, the whole point is he's getting retribution for what has been done to this country, all right? I'm going to take you to another video that might explain to you exactly why he's doing what he's doing.
You talk in your book about getting even, the importance of getting even. Is revenge sweet?
I believe strongly in getting even. If somebody has hurt you, if somebody's gone out of their way to hurt you, I think that if you have the opportunity, you should certainly go out of your way to do a number on them. And I've had more criticism about that one statement in my book than any other statement. The clergy is called, the ministers, the priests, the rabbis, they've all said, what a terrible thing to say. That's against our teachings. I just believe it. I believe in an eye for an eye.
If you did turn the other cheek, as the clergy are presumably suggesting to you, what would that do to your reputation in business circles here in New York, do you think?
Well, I don't know what it would do to my reputation. I just don't believe instinctively in turning the other cheek. If somebody was out to hurt you, if somebody was out to do a number on you, I really believe that you should just do a number on them if you get the chance.
Can you give me an example?
Well, there were people that I really helped in business when things were very good in the 1980s and when my company was going good. And they did not lift a finger to help me when I needed it. And there were a couple of them that could have very easily helped me. Now I have the opportunity to do a number on those people, and I will tell you I'm having a lot of fun with the
opportunity. He's having a lot of fun. Now, there's some people that won't like that because they, they believe that whatever, that turn the other cheek, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, I don't necessarily have an opinion on it right at this point, but I understand what he's saying. And I don't necessarily disagree with what he's saying, but I guess you pick your battles, you choose your battles as well. Because I think sometimes you would turn the other cheek. But again, remember we talked about different opinions, different viewpoints at the beginning of the show. He has every right to think that way. I have not lived his life. I don't know what he's been through. Maybe he was very harmed by some people that he actually helped. So that's his viewpoint on it. I might have a different one, but I might also have the same viewpoint on other people in my life. So I think it's fascinating, but it sounds like he might be doing a number on them now. So that's fascinating. Now, I want to take you to a tweet because I will tell you, one of the most common messages I get behind the scenes, other than you wonderful people out there saying wonderful things and thanking me and asking questions, not talking about you. I love all of you, right? Now I'm going to talk about the people who I get not nearly as many, but a handful of the Q, PsyHop, Q this, Q is bad, Q is stupid, it doesn't make sense. This one tweet really totally summed it up for me, and it couldn't be honestly any better. And you've heard me talk about this person, this Anon, who is one of my favorites, top 5, probably top 3 favorite Anons, because he's a very analytical, objective, reasoning man. And so I want to actually bring it to you, but this is Martin Geddes, and I will show you the tweet. I looked at the data and came to the conclusion that Q is legit. Other people didn't look at the data and came to the conclusion that Q isn't legit. And I am meant to be the crazy one? Okay, let's see how that works out for you. Literally a genius tweet, because I will tell you, always ask. If anyone says you're crazy, you're stupid, it doesn't make any sense, it's horrible, have you read the drops? If you've read the drops, it's actually very, very fascinating to understand and see what could be going on. And Martin, just so you can see, I'm going to bring you to his Twitter page because I'd love to highlight him because he is tremendous, really great person. Let me bring you up to his main Twitter page. This is Martin Geddes, fantastic individual. He was interviewed by Robert David Steele. I'd love to interview him. I did hear recently in the last couple months that he was a little bit exhausted from a lot of interviewing, so I've held off on that, but I will reach out to him because I now have his email box up there and he follows me. So I'm going to reach out to him because I would love to highlight him. He's so good. And he is, here's his website. If you ever want to go read very objective, very fascinating information, and I'm going to tell you right now, Martin is not a conspiracy guy. Martin is not necessarily an adrenochrome individual going down the PZ. No, he literally, because he has I believe, telecommunications background. He's very, very left brain analytical. He needs a very objective. He's not one of those ones. I don't think he jumps into the whole JFK Jr. stuff. I don't think he jumps into any of that stuff. Not that I've seen. He literally is solely focused on the drops and how this would be carried out as a 5D chess match in a military operation. That's why I appreciate him so much. For all some of the ones out there who push all the JFK Jr. stuff, the stuff we can't necessarily prove, I love the Martins and the praying medics of the world because they also keep me grounded. I have the doctor brain. I like and need to see objective data. That's why when people are like, is JFK Jr. alive? I'm like, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Like, I was asked again this weekend, what do you think? And I go, I'm honestly 50-50. Like, analytically, it wouldn't make any sense necessarily. Now, I know there's some data out there that is proof, etc. Is it objective proof, meaning does it show you a result in front of your eyes? Not necessarily. Now, there's also the fun world over here that makes a lot of sense that he totally could be alive. So that's why I'm 50-50. I don't know, because at the end of the day, it doesn't necessarily affect what's going on right now. And if he, trust me, I would love to see JFK Jr. walk out October 17th in Dallas, Texas, and give a big FU to the cabal. Nothing better than that. I would be jumping out of my chair, like celebrating like crazy. But I also have to consider, it's said that he died in a plane crash. So, without me seeing him, how do we go forward without having him here? Okay? Because you have to think that way. You have to, what do we have in front of us? Now, that's what we have to go with. All right? Now, you might say, well, we can't prove the ETs and UFOs. Yes, you can, because there's actual government documents showing it. Okay? Totally different world there. All right? Does that make sense? Let me show you his page again. So this is Martin Geddes' page at Martin Geddes. He is in London, England, and he actually has a site here, basic free PDF actually of Q. So really cool stuff here. 10 essays on QAnon. They're very, very good. I highly recommend you downloading those. He is a really, really good guy. Okay, he's kind of similar to Praying Medic, just in a different way. So really, really good stuff. Now, I'm going to show you this next tweet feed. The reason I'm going to show you this is because Martin Geddes actually retweeted this. This was not his tweet, but it was retweeted. And I want to show you how crazy this possibly could be getting. All right? Very fascinating. Let me show you what they think about where POTUS is. Okay, where in the world is POTUS? If, like me, you snickered when POTUS made his I have a COVID announcement, this is your thread. If you believe that POTUS has COVID and is safely at Walter Reed Military Hospital, as you're being told, this is not your thread. And again, this is from Dano, Snarkish Dano, and Martin retweeted this. All right? Now that I've guaranteed that all the doubters will be reading, let's continue. I have a theory backed up with plenty of evidence, both map, Q, and video related to illustrate where I'm going here. No half-baked theories here, fully baked only, please. See, I like these people. I like these people that think very analytically and objectively and give us information. I'm even hesitant to post this, but if they didn't want us to figure it out, the breadcrumbs wouldn't have been laid, and laid like Kamala getting to the top, they have been. This whole thread is predicated on the belief that we are watching a scripted movie being played out in full control of patriots. Kabuki theater. Now, I'm not going to show all these videos. You can go through them yourself. But so let's travel in the Wayback Machine to when POTUS and FLOTUS visited Walter Reed back on July 11th of this year. Pay close attention to his attire, suit and tie color specifically. It was white. It was a blue tie. Remember, we made a big deal about him wearing a mask for the first time publicly. He was calling attention to this, saying, "Hey, look here." Okay, and you've seen these videos, most of you, so if you haven't, go check them out. Okay, fast forward to October 1st, the beginning of Red October. That phrase will have more meaning. It's K-E-K. Okay, that's what, it's kind of like a laugh out loud for the Anons. That phrase will have more meaning, much more meaning later, but let's stay on this course. October 1st at 22:44 Eastern Time, POTUS posted this. Hope Hicks, who had been working so hard without even taking a small break, has just tested positive for COVID-19. Terrible. The First Lady and I are waiting for our test results. In the meantime, we will begin our quarantine process. Okay. The next day, we get this one. Pay attention to the suit and tie combo. It's the same one that was at Walter Reed. A still showing the mask that he's wearing, again, matching what he was wearing back in July. Same attire. Then on October 3rd, we get this video. Notice the same suit, sans tie this time, but there's some oddness about this video, almost like a background noise and a swaying motion. So we went over that video earlier. Let me bring myself up so you can see. Perfect. Okay. So the swaying video, you can even see it more there. Like now that you know that it's there, like watch it. It actually does sway. All right. And there's background noise. This video gave rise to some questions by people as evidenced in these two posts or threads. Okay. Now that's about the movement in the video. Then this gem popped up, which got my noodle baking. Always a dangerous thing. I had already been thinking submarine for various reasons, but this was the first post that got me going, okay, I'm not crazy. And that person said, there's a thread. I'm not going to go into each of the threads because that will take us down rabbit holes and on time. But I can't seem to find him at the moment. But a non who had worked on Navy ships pointed out that the cabinets were a dead match to ones you would find in an underwater vessel. Cabinets made specifically for rough seas. All right, so go back and watch that. They put up little flags here to show you the movement. And then today he posted this video, again, sans tie, which would make sense if you're in a hospital. Only one change of clothes is the norm. Now, many are saying that the last video was done in front of a green screen. Even if not, something isn't quite right with the video. So that brings us up to the current on the official line. Let's go back to the Hope Hicks tweet and move forward from there using an Anon's eye and discernment. I will lay out my premise first and then all the supporting evidence for it. What a movie this is. KEK, that phrase has layers of meaning, as you will see. So, Tom Clancy, The Hunt for Red October. Tom Clancy, Patriot Games. What if we are watching a movie quite literally? Let's use the Hope Hicks tweet as a go tweet. 22:44 October 1st. From that point forward, everything we have seen is scripted and or pre-recorded. That was the go signal. Once that tweet was made, it was done by iPhone, so theoretically could have been made anywhere. POTUS could have been on the move. So again, an assumption here, no real basis in fact, as if we go down this road, he doesn't have to leave from Walter Reed at all. But for the sake of argument, let's say he does have to leave from Walter Reed. It's about an hour drive to Annapolis. Why Annapolis, you might ask? Well, just wait and see. Okay, that's about an hour of time, so let's round it and say midnight on October 2nd. Once at Annapolis, then what? Well, Annapolis is a military base right on the water, board a submarine, 5 hours later, open water. Now, why am I assuming submarine? Well, POTUS never goes the direction indicated. First, we have the Doomsday planes up on October 2nd, so they show air. I immediately think water, opposites. So breaking, signaling to the world, President at real is in control and our military is ready to react to any threat. The U.S. Airborne Nuclear Command aircraft have been scrambled and are aloft along the east and west coast, telling enemies back off. This actually happened, okay? Then we have the video and everyone coming to the conclusion that the cabinets in the background are only on underwater vessels. Well, that means submarine. And the only submarine big enough to have a table like that are the Ohio-class subs. Plus, we have the Hunt for Red October, which has been mentioned a bunch of times by Q. So I'll open these up real quick. I'm not going to go through them. It's too small to read. All right, but you can look this up. You can look up this whole feed on your own. It's not a problem. All right, but these are all Q drops that correlate. All right. Back to the boats. Ohio's have a max reported speed of 29 miles per hour, 25 knots, which is probably shy by a bit, but I'm using 30 miles per hour as the number to do all my figuring with. So a one-day radius from the Newport News Bridge gives us this. If we let me open this up. Okay. So there you go. It's showing where it would be in the radius. If we figure that he might still be on board, we have this radius to work with, right? So he's actually opening it up as the time would have expired. But here's the thing. What if 10 days of darkness means something totally different than what we had figured? Going dark has a specific meaning in military parlance. Going dark is a military term we use quite a bit in the Marine Corps infantry when I was in. It means radio silence, driving blackout with no lights, and basically incognito and stealth mode. Okay? What's darker than being underwater in a sub heading to a destination? All of this cloak and dagger has to have meaning, but what? Well, let's push out to 5 days of boat ride, taking up the full 10 days of darkness. 5 days there, 5 days back. Interesting. Interestingly enough, at least one, possibly two military prisons fall within this radius. Guantanamo, I can't even say that word, Guantanamo and Thule. Here is a thread I did about there being 3 military Guantanamo-based on Q drops. Please read to see where I'm going, all right? So, I'm not going to read this. So Guantanamo is about 47 hours away from open water sailing. So there's Guantanamo. All right. Thule is a full 120 hours away. That would mean sailing full time with little time at the end point. But if you're transporting a couple high-level prisoners, don't need much time once there. Time on the boat is all that's needed. So there's that one. All right, up in the very northern hemisphere. We know that there will be high-level arrests and such coming soon. We assume 11/3 to be the day, but that's been shown to be a marker more than a date. So what if we take the Podesta arrest as happening on October 1st and follow the bouncing ball forward from there? And when POTUS comes back, well, what happens when you come out of the dark? From dark to light. As always, thank you for reading. I will Facebook All Patriots. If you enjoyed this, please check out the pinned tweets. Okay, so that was the end of that. Now, okay. So some people are like, okay, that makes sense. I get it. It could be that. Now, I'm going to show you another one that actually kind of blew my mind. Let me find it here. I think I lost it for a second. Here we go. Now, this one is pure speculation. Pure speculation. But the person who did this one actually nailed the Lebanon bombing, the Lebanon explosion, which was a couple months ago. Okay? Watch this one. Now, this is not as objective, but it still makes sense, possibly. And I do trust the Anon because the Anon has unlocked some other things before. So let's check this one for fun. Okay, here's the juice. This is Benjamin A. Bach, at Benjamin A. Bach. We staged Robert's death in August. Robert has been prepping for this op. Robert was already aboard Marine One when it landed at the castle. So there's President with his brother. News conference at 5:30. Enjoy. So POTUS walks out masked up and gets in Marine One. Marine One lands at Walter Reed, and Robert masked up gets out. The illusion is complete. Marine One flies POTUS to Joint Base Andrews, and away we go. Transponder disengaged. So there's the picture of the president getting in. And he tied a Scavino post as well. The October 2nd video posted by POTUS on Twitter is clearly in front of a green screen and was pre-recorded. That was the video we were talking about. There's POTUS supposedly getting off. And there's the video. The October 3rd video posted by POTUS on Twitter was produced aboard Air Force One. Possibly. Again, is it Air Force One or is it submarine like they were talking about? I don't know, but I'm showing you both. Because either way, something is going on. Added sauce. Further evidence to suggest the October 3rd POTUS video was filmed aboard Air Force One. POTUS on Air Force One confirmation. They took pictures. All right. POTUS timestamp 1437. Q 1437 has some nice pictures from Air Force One. Seems like a big hint to me. Now, either way with this one, when I get towards the end, you could trade out the submarine for Air Force One because it would still make sense. Trump is on an aircraft carrier USS Dwight D. Eisenhower ? October 4th. Trump releases video taken aboard aircraft carrier or sub as more assassination teams deploy, because there has been speculation that there were assassination attempts that were going on during this. A grimly worded new Ministry of Foreign Affairs report circulated in the Kremlin today says United States Secretary of State Mike Pompeo abruptly cut his Asia trip short a few hours ago after the Chinese Communist Party shockingly announced it had arrested the mother of famed virologist Dr. Li Yang. I'm probably mispronouncing that. My apologies to her. About whom yesterday the General Directorate of the General Staff of the Armed Forces revealed that after Secretary Pompeo stated that there is a significant amount of evidence coronavirus emerged from a communist Chinese laboratory, saw Dr. Li Mengyan appearing this past fortnight on the Fox News program Tucker Carlson Tonight, where she told the American people watching their nation's most watched news show in history, she shared based on evidence that the communist Chinese government intentionally manufactured and released the coronavirus intentionally. And within minutes of Secretary Pompeo announcing he's cut short his Asia visit, saw it being followed by President Donald Trump releasing a recorded 4-minute long video on his Twitter page. A video examined by the Foreign Intelligence Services, whose findings have showed that the white painted surfaces behind President Trump have an exact electromagnetic spectroscopy match with the white surfaces in the inboard cabin aboard the nuclear-powered aircraft carrier USS Dwight D. Eisenhower that presently is the seas off its main port base in Norfolk, Virginia, which puts this aircraft carrier well within the strategic boundaries of the Raven Rock underground nuclear war complex sitting beneath numerous eastern regions of the United States where President Trump is operating his war command from. Though not uncommon to see the U.S. Navy using the same paint on multiple surfaces, such as aircraft carriers in the walls of U.S. naval hospitals, most critical to notice in this video is the president's flag standing behind Trump's left shoulder. Okay, now they're talking, this is where he goes into a little bit of the movement of the flag, okay? I'm going to go bypass that. For the reason behind the location of President Trump being kept secret can be seen in such articles like deep cover sources reveal intelligence information that indicate 4 assassination teams have been dispatched to take the life of the president. If you click on this link, I'm not going to go deep into this. It's called the Common Sense Show. They actually talk about, they revealed that there were 4 assassination teams that have been dispatched from the deep state. Okay, so you can go read through that. Now, you are watching a movie. We're all on the same page. There's a movie. All right? This goes over the command and move out planes in the air that they were talking about. This is the U.S. Navy anti-submarine aircraft refueled at Andaman and Nicobar military base. A U.S. Navy P-8 anti-submarine warfare aircraft was refueled at the Indian military base in Andaman and Nicobar Islands on Saturday, October 3rd. U.S. conducts training and reconnaissance missions in East Sea. Kim Jong-un said he will showcase a new strategic weapon, which could be an intercontinental ballistic missile or a submarine-launched ballistic missile, according to experts. In case of emergency, Trump's nuclear football briefcase that holds doomsday missile launch codes is seen traveling to hospital with him. Now, I don't know which one it is, but clearly they know what the bags are. Hunters become the prey. Okay? So, Red October, enjoy the show. Now, again, I am not saying one or the other is right. I tend to lean towards the Martin Geddes one, but I think there's probably some facts in both of them. So let me show you this one. This one I think is probably the most accurate, and Martin is retweeting this one. But I think there's probably some facts from the other one as well that we should actually definitely look at and kind of combine this puzzle. At the end of the day, folks, it's literally a puzzle. It's literally a puzzle we're trying to figure out, and there is a movie going on before your very eyes. So take it for what it is. Now, before I close out, I want to show you something very, very quickly. And this is a very important closeout because I have a message for you guys that I spoke about yesterday, okay? Here is OAN. OAN, the American News Network, look at the positive news story. White House doctors, President Trump could be discharged Monday. You click on that, and it's a positive news story. Isn't that amazing? Isn't it nice to have a news channel or a network that actually freaking cares about America? All right. Then I go to RT, and RT goes, how dare he? Now, this is not RT themselves, but critics aghast as Trump makes surprise visit to the great patriots outside hospital. Okay. Then I'm going to show you some mainstream. CNN. Trump's photo op raises more questions. And then the drive-by highlighted, okay, let me give you the headline over here. This gives the best headline. The drive-by highlighted the president's willingness to endanger his staff and showed he does not comprehend the seriousness of the virus. And then MSNBC just for the hell of it. Trump briefly leaves Walter Reed to wave at supporters for a motorcade. Doctors criticizes Trump's joyride for putting others at risk. Oh my God. Do you understand the insanity of your mainstream media, which is they're gonna fall, folks. They're going to fall. Now, as I finish off, I'm not gonna say take questions today. I'll do some Noble Patriot After Darks this week. Again, anybody out there who's having trouble getting Noble Patriot After Dark, I'll show you at the end here. It's a group page, okay? So get on there. That's where I do the Noble Patriot After Dark, which I'll bring up here. But I want to tell you a little bit, something very important that I spoke about yesterday, okay? The reason I want to bring this up is I went there. There were 8 speakers, 8 wonderful speakers. And there's a lot of times when I show up, I'm a little different when it comes to speaking. So I do professionally speak. I speak for my industry and other things. So I've been on stage many times for big crowds, and I love being on stage. It's fun. And a lot of times, I will either show up only with bullet points, or I won't show up with anything in my mind at all, because I like to free flow ideas. All right. And some people think that's crazy. I actually have people within my own profession who are like, you need to prepare more. I'm like, no, I don't, because I've been good at what I do. I understand how my mind works. And if it's a big thing that I know what I'm definitely having to speaking on, then I will put some stuff together to have bullet points. But things always change the night before. So I went there, 8 people speaking, wonderful speakers. I was very, very honored to meet all of them. They're great people. And about a half hour before, still nothing, right? But I kind of had an idea what I could speak on. But then, literally 15 minutes before I went on stage, I was walking down this little sidewalk / road, and I had just met, before this all started, there was a lovely family there, and I don't recall their names. My apologies. Meeting a lot of people, I sometimes forget the name. I'm a very good face person. I'm not a great names person. And they had this little girl with them, and they were dressed. She was dressed in an American flag dress, and I think she was right around 5-ish, maybe. And as I was walking down, and I saw the mom with her walking, and there was it was raining a lot. There was a big rain puddle, and this little girl had boots on, rain boots, and her mom went down with her, and the little girl got right in the middle of the rain puddle, and she started jumping up and down in the rain puddle. And you know what her mom did? Her mom let her jump in the rain puddle, because what is more fun as a kid than jumping in a rain puddle, right? And mom knows that, because mom was watching her do it, and she was, she had boots on, so she's not getting all soaking wet, and it's Florida, it's not cold. And if you saw the look on this little girl's face, the smile, the pure joy of jumping in a rain puddle. And I saw that, and the little switch went off my head, and I said, that's what I'm talking about. And so I literally put together my little 10-15 minute thing in my head, and I got on stage, and I dropped the bombs of vaccine injured children, destroyed families by a $2.5 to $10 trillion sick care system, and watching the difference between destroyed families, destroyed children, and then children jumping in a rain puddle, smiling, happy. Do you realize as adults, we get programmed as we grow up from the people around us to the schools, because it's all designed that way. We're programmed by our environment and our planet. The governments have programmed us. That little girl isn't programmed yet. That little girl is free. That little girl is some soul from out there that God source created and put in that little girl, that little body there, and said, go find your gifts, but more importantly, be free. And that little girl was being as free as she could be. And then I look around and I see a lot of adults who are not free. I actually should have went over and jumped around with her. Why aren't the adults jumping or walking in the rain? Oh wait, because too many things could happen. We are put here, I should say. We are free individuals. We are sovereigns. We are sparks of God. That's what we are. That's who we are. Yes, this is an election. And yes, right now, yeah, there's multiple ways you can vote, but there's two choices. Yes, I've said 1 trillion times, the choices are stupid. We shouldn't have two choices. It's not how it should be run. But that's what we have right now. And no matter what happens, whether the president is reelected and it is the greatest decision ever and we get our country back and our planet back, or not, either way, and this is what I told them, we have to capture back our freedoms. Because in the end of the day, guess what? Here's my libertarian mind kicking in. No government is going to run your life for you. If you want something running your life, then you're already trapped and captured. I want my government to put some things in place that protect us from outside stuff, but then I want them to get the hell out of all of our ways. Print the money, make it a treasury, do some basic necessities, get rid of the tax system that is unconstitutional and illegal, give us a national defense, our businesses will pay taxes, that's fine. This is a battle for not just America, this is a battle for the planet, and this is a battle for civilization. Because when you have 1 in 36 children being impacted by autism because of a needle and chemicals destroying the gut and brain, you're not just losing a country. You're losing a civilization of humans. You're losing souls. You're losing spirits. This election and going forward is a battle, a spiritual battle, a galactic battle for our human rights and freedoms on this planet right now. That's it. We have lost generations because we agreed and allowed a massive matrix made up of military industrial complex, medical industrial complex, pharma, big ag, you name it, to destroy us. This is our moment. Whether this president is on our side or not, it does not matter. This is our moment to take back what is ours, and that is our free will, our spirituality, our sovereignty, our freedom. I need all of you to continuously, every single day to this election and after, to do positive things for human beings, positive things for your neighbor, positive things for your family. Even if you have someone who doesn't agree with you, to make it a better world is to go up to them and do something kind for them. Do something they would never expect. If you're driving down the road and you have a MAGA flag and you see a Biden rally, you know what? Blow them away, shock them. Take them a cold bottle of water and say, you know what? You guys have every right to campaign for who you believe is the right person. Here's some water. Here's some food. Whatever it is. Right? Yeah, we maybe think they're wrong. But guess what? They're still humans. Do something that will shock them to understand we're not trying to take them out. We're trying to get them to see that the media and the world has brainwashed all of us. And then on top of that, when you do that thing, do me a favor. If you have kids, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, any child who's with you, right? Do it in front of them. Do it in front of them to show them how we treat human beings. Because the more you do that, the more you lift the frequency of everything that's going on, of this planet, of everything. And no matter what occurs, if we lift that frequency, I swear to you, no matter who is on our side and who's not on our side, we will always win. Because guess what? The darkness, they hang down here. They can't, they literally, they physically, energetically cannot hang at this level. If you're up here, they can't come up. They can't operate there. If we all do that, this game is over. We move on to the next enjoyable part of our life. So do it. Go out and help somebody. Go out and serve somebody. Go out and help and serve those who may think you're the enemy. Make a friend. You never know how far that goes. And at the end of the day, let your kids see the acts that you're carrying out. As always, because I went way long, every time I try to be efficient, I actually go the opposite way. Do me a favor. Go out, serve, and help someone tomorrow, this week. Be well. I love you guys all. Noble Patriots, you're amazing. I will take questions more this week. I'm going to now go and catch up on sleep that I should have had last night, but I had an amazing time last night. And I thank all the people who I was with last night. By the way, the creators of the event, Dr. Cordy Williams and Christopher Scott Lippy, amazing individuals, and their team as well. Jen Franco, phenomenal individuals. They're great. They put on amazing events. They're going to DC. Dr. Cordy will be on probably, I think, next week to talk about what's going to happen in DC. But they were wonderful. And again, serve and help. Serve and help and show your kids what humanity is supposed to look like. Dr. Jason Dean, Revolution Network. Have an amazing, wonderful rest of your weekend and have an amazing week.